Next month, our beloved Jeff Gianola, the one and only, will be retiring after a legendary career. He has the latest chapter in your Jeff Journal series, Jeff.
You know, Mia, when I look back on my career, there's one story I followed that never made it on any newscast. In the early 1990s, I met an architect named Pietro Belluschi. I was so fascinated by his story, I spent the next 3 years writing and producing a documentary about his life. I want to share that important part of my journey with you in tonight's Jeff's Journal.
Pietro Belluschi was the last of a great generation of architects, European immigrants who had a major impact on American architecture.
He's definitely an American architect, there's no question about that. He's not Italian architect, even though he came from there. He's an American architect of with a very strong American tradition, exemplified by Frank Lloyd Wright.
I first met Pietro Belluschi in the early 1990s, and I became obsessed with documenting his life and legacy. He had a certain style, a style that defined Northwest architecture, but he himself was an extremely elegant Italian man, and he himself had a lot of style.
I don't know if Portland ever had anyone quite so elegant as Pietro, certainly not an architect, when he arrived.
The Pacific Northwest was a wondrous place to Belluschi, with an environment totally different from his native Italy.
I was very much impressed by the woods and the wildness of the surrounding.
Among his most notable buildings, Belluschi designed the Portland Art Museum, the first modern art museum in the world. When Portland leaders first rejected his design as too modern, he reached out to Frank Lloyd Wright, who praised the design, embarrassing city leaders to embrace the plan.
My dear Belluschi, your client is making a serious mistake looking toward the future. I think your plan's simple and sensible, and the exterior would mark an advance in culture for the city of Portland. Frank Lloyd Wright.
Work on the museum was completed in 1932. The design brought Belluschi nationwide acclaim and recognition.
Belluschi also designed the country's first post-war modern office building, the Equitable Building in downtown Portland. Completed in 1948, it became the envy of New York architects.
It was a very pioneering building from an aesthetic standpoint, in that it was really the first modern office building that was built. But the thing that I think distinguishes it is that it's a very regional building at the same time. And the quality that it has, which is a very liquid quality in the skyline, it's beautiful. And it's one of those kinds of buildings that always lifts the spirit.
Belluschi embraced the use of Northwest wood and natural materials in the homes he designed, homes that blend into the environment, not unlike the works of Frank Lloyd Wright. Pietro passed away in 1994 at the age of 94, before my documentary was completed. But I feel blessed that he allowed me to capture his life on film for future generations. My film, No Perfect Answers, ends with a quote from Pietro, the words written on a bench in Forest Park, one of his favorite places. It says, "We never could design a building as beautiful as the trees." I miss you, my friend. Well, Mia, you saw Pietro at the end walking in his backyard, and Pietro's son, Tony, and his wife moved back to Portland. Tony and Marty now live in Pietro's home in Northwest Portland, an outstanding example of his modern Northwest style. Now, recently, we all got together for a showing of my documentary with a lot of folks, and every time I see it, it reminds me of how special it was to really meet Pietro and document his life.